All right. I'd like to start off by saying Barakatah Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rucha HaKodash. Welcome to another lesson, another live lesson. This is just various topics. Today's date is February 11th, 2018. It's a Sunday. Um, I don't have anything prepared, but Spirit is on me to go live, so I'm just gonna um, just go into whatever the Spirit gives me. Um, I do want to mention that the Passover is coming up soon. um, Pretty much the different camp leaders out there, um, they have the information for the Passover, the day it's going to be, and they'll give it out to their camps, the members, as need as is needed. Um, when we keep the when we do the Passover, there's a service that we have. Usually we'll have a class first, then after the class, we'll go into dealing with the service for the Sabbath, for the Passover. And it's pretty much done in the Lashawan Kodash or the Paleo Hebrew. Um, and I got a couple of examples here. I was gonna go through some of this real quick. Just the alphabet. This what you're seeing right here is the Paleo Hebrew. I also have the Paleo Hebrew, and I also have the Assyrian script, or really Syrian script, which they call Aramaic. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go through some of this, and just to show you, these are all the characters. The Hebrew language is read from right to left. The Hebrew language is also the language of the heavens. That's why when Yahweh Shai came to the Apostle Paul, he spoke to him in the Hebrew tongue. All right. And that is our language. That is our heritage. That was the first language that was ever spoken on the planet. Um, this is what Adam named the animals and the trees and everything that he saw. For example, this I here, this is the first letter in the Hebrew alphabet, I. If you turn this counterclockwise, or should I say, yeah, if you turn this counterclockwise, where it looks like this V is standing up, if you look at it pretty close, it looks like an ox head, or like a cattle head. Any of you brothers out there that know about American Steakhouse, they have a logo, and the logo, is a like a stick figure, um, cattle head, you know, and this is what this stands for, alap, which means 1,000, or it also means cattle. So you have a, ba, ga, da, ha, wa, za, ha, ta, ya, ka, la, ma, na, sa, I, pa, taza, kwa, ra, sha, and then tha. So this is the Paleo Hebrew, or the Lashwan Kodash, the holy tongue uh that we speak. But you'll be able to find certain um sites that'll have this particular language. But you have the majority of books that you will have out there is gonna have the Syrian or Aramaean form of the Hebrew. Now this one here is incomplete. I mean, the letters are complete, but this is missing what's called final lance, which I'll explain that in a second. But these letters here, you notice they're different from these, because this is the ancient Hebrew, and this is the Aramaean script. All right, so you got the a, ba, ga, da, ha, wa, za, cha, ta, ya, ka, la, ma, na, sa, I, pa, taza, kwa, ra, sha, and tha. Now, in this particular writing here, the final lance is, there's certain times when you when you create a Hebrew word that it ends in certain letters, certain of these letters. Well, there's five of these letters here that have a different look to them. The first one being the ka. Now the ka, if the word begins with a ka, or if the ka is found somewhere in the middle of the word, you just basically use a regular ka. But if the ka ends at the end of the word, like the Hebrew word for king is malak, and it ends with a ka, you will put a final length on it, and this letter would come this way and all the way down instead of curving at the bottom here. Let me see if I can find. Let me see if I can find Hebrew alphabet. Alphabet. Let me see if I can find an example of this. Okay, beautiful, right here. Now, as you can see here, you have the aba, ga, da, ha, wa, za, ha, ta, ya, and then you have the ka. This is the final ka. See how it goes across the same way, but it comes straight down. This would go at the end of a word. Then you have the la, and then you have the ma. Now you notice how this ma is shaped, and this ma is a little more boxed or a little more square, because this goes at the end of a letter. Like the word mayum, which is water, it has both. It has the ma, ya, and then ma at the end. So mayum, water, you will use this for the regular m or ma, and this for the final one. Then you have na, which is uh, um, the next letter, and this is the letter that would go at the end of a word. Okay, like Joshua, the son of Nun. This would be the first letter you would use, and that would be the one at the end. This Nun. If you're using this particular Aramaean script, So I mean, I hope this isn't too confusing for you brothers, you know. But I'm just giving you like some basic pointers. Then you have the sa, and notice the sa and the final man look very similar, but the this one here has like a cutoff here, and this one is totally square. So these things, when you're reading through the pages of the Hebrew, you'll get familiar with the letters. The first step is you have to learn the letters, and know memorize which letter is which, and then after a while you learn how to pick up on how to distinguish the different letters, in the Aramaean, because mainly in the Aramaean is where you get a lot of confusion in. All right, so you have the sa, you have the I, and the pa, and the pa. This is the one that goes at the beginning or throughout, and then this pa here will go at the end of a word in the Hebrew. Okay, so that, like the word where we were dealing with here. Just bear with me 1 second. As we were dealing with here, I'm sorry. Yeah, when we were saying that the A stands for alap, it would be a, la, and pa. I'm sorry, pa. But this is the regular pa. So let me go back here. So alap, which is 1,000 or cattle, would be a, la, and this final pa here. You wouldn't use this one because this is at the end. So there's only 5 letters that are like that. That whenever a word ends in that particular letter, you will use a different letter to write at the end of that particular word. All right. Then you have the tazah. This is the regular tazah, and that's the final tazah. Okay. Like the word arataza is a, ra, tazah, but this is at the end, so you will put this tazah at the end of the letter or of the word. Okay, so that's the regular tazah, that's the final tazah, kwa, ra, shata. And once you learn that basic that basic concept there, you pretty much will be able to pick up different things when you're reading. All right, So that was, pretty much it on that. I just wanted to go through the Hebrew alphabet right quick. Just show you the difference between the Paleo and the Aramaean. Okay, and this is what we mostly deal with, because the Torahs that we have today are mostly written in this language. You know, this and I just want to just put it out there. First of all, I like to say shalom to the elect, shalom to the hopeful elect out there, and this lesson, when you go into history or when you go into the Hebrew or different things, is boring. It's not controversial, so it's not going to hold the attention of these scoffers much, you know. So if you're here for controversy, you might as well just keep it moving, because this is not that type of lesson. All right, so since I mentioned Yahweh Shai speaking to the Apostle Paul, um, let's go there. Acts chapter 26 and verse 13. Um, Matter of fact, before I read that, I want to go here to the I'm just gonna type in the word Hebrew, right? Which is Genesis 14:13. All right. Genesis 14:13. It says, and there came one that had escaped and told Abram the Hebrew, for he dwelt in the plain of Mamre of the Amorite, brother of Eshcol and brother of Aner, and these were confederate with Abram. So it called Abram the Hebrew. Now the Hebrew language has the name Hebrew, but they also called it the speech of Judah, something along those lines. I can't really remember the Jews' language. I believe this is said, but it's also known as Hebrew. Okay. Now, when you look up this term, this word Hebrew in the actual Hebrew language is Ibar Yah. Now you notice that this is the Aramaean form. It's Ibar Yah. That's Hebrew, which comes from the Hebrew word Ibar. Okay, this is where you get the name Eber from. All right, and the reason why Eber was named that was because he was the patriarch whom the language was kept through. Because when you go back to the beginning, Genesis, the 11th chapter, and I'll start at the first verse, and the whole earth was of one language and of one speech, meaning everybody spoke that same language, you know? So everybody before the flood spoke the same language. That's why they were able to understand each other, to be able to build this tower and be able to be in unison as one. Now, that was your first New World Order. Everybody was speaking the same language. Everybody understood everybody. Everybody had the same goal in mind, was to build this tower so that the flood wouldn't overtake them again. Now, if the Most High was with all people coming together, why did He not allow these people to continue speaking the same language altogether? Why did He confound the language? Because the Most High is not dealing with all people coming together like that. All right. It says, I'm going to jump to the 5th verse. And the Lord came down to see the city and tower, which is children of men build it. And the Lord said, behold, the people is one, and they have all one language. And this they begin to do. And now nothing will be restrained from them, which they have imagined to do. Let us go down and there confound their language, that they may not understand one another's speech. So then when that happened, that's where all the different languages came into being, based off of the Hebrew language. And if you look at all these languages, they all have some form of Hebrew root to them. All right, one of the closest being Arabic, which has a Hebrew in it, because it's a mixture of Hebrew in there. It says, so the Lord scattered them abroad from thence upon the face of all the earth, and they left off to build the city. Therefore is the name of it called Babel. Now the word Babel comes from the Hebrew word Babal, which means confusion. And it was called that because there was all these different languages speaking, and no one understood each other. And that's the reason why the Lord calls America Babylon the Great, because it's that great melting pot with all different languages